Hello everyone, my name is Dee Ann Darkwood and I would like to thank Helen for inviting me to do this reading for you. During this reading we're going to use the deck of my authorship, the Dark Misfits Tarot, and we're going to look at blockages that stop you from connecting with your true, authentic self. This is a collaboration, so you might have seen Helen's part of this reading, and Helen's part was talking about ways to connect with your authentic self. So let's put the deck aside and focus on the reading. This is a pick a card reading, so please choose from one of these. I know that they're quite difficult cards, but this is why we're here to talk about them and to figure out how to deal with the blockages that these cards create. So choose one of them. With each of the cards, we're going to look at the conscious, the subconscious, and the actions that need to be taken to remove that blockage, to connect with your true, authentic self. I'm going to use the deck, which has not been shuffled previously, so I'm just going to shuffle in real life, and we'll see what we get for each of the aspects. I'm going to start with the devil, so I'll remove the two other cards for now. We'll get back to them when it's time. So when it comes to the devil, let's see what we've got for the conscious. The subconscious. And the action that needs to be taken. Very good. When it comes to your conscious, I do feel that a lot of you do know who you really are on the inside. It's not a case of not really knowing who you are as your true authentic self. I do feel that the devil, which often talks about fears or being otherwise somehow entrapped by the circumstances, I feel that the fear for many of you is related to the actions that need to be taken to become your true authentic self. You do feel sometimes that perhaps you do not have the strength to do it, even though strength is a very positive card, but in relation to the blockage that is created by the devil, I feel like many of you are doubting your strength. Please do not doubt it. You're incredibly strong on the inside. You've identified who you really are. You've identified your life goal, your life purpose. And I do understand the circumstances sometimes might not be the easiest. You might be at the mercy of other people, perhaps financial circumstances, or perhaps other things that you need to remove in your life. This might be habits, addictions that are holding you back. It's incredibly difficult. Like devil has got that dark aspect where, you know, we're all being a little bit controlled by circumstances beyond our control, and that generates the fear that we've got of taking the actions. But consciously you do know that you need that new beginning. You know that you're ready for the new beginning. It's the action, it's taking those actions that petrify you. For some of you, it's taking the first action. For some of you, it's maintaining the actions, because sometimes, of course, one action ain't enough to get you where you really want to be. But you do know that your life at the moment is quite far from who you really are. It's quite far from that feeling of living an authentic and good life. So those actions are necessary. I feel this is a conscious part, so you've also identified them. It's about following through and finding the courage to follow through. Strength and courage sometimes sort of overlap as symbols. So it's about finding that courage that is, again, within yourself, that strength, that ability to follow through. I feel that, you know, for some of you, this is harder than for others, particularly when the blockages where the circumstances that in a way control you have not been created by you, but have been created by other people. Because in this case, you need to stand up for yourself. It can be incredibly difficult. This can require kind of repeating yourself and telling yourself repeatedly, I've got this, I can do it, I know what needs to be done, and I need to follow through. If I don't follow through, I never truly will become my true, authentic self. So this is what's going on in your conscious mind. In your subconscious mind, however, and I'm going to move that devil a little bit further away now, so I think we can still see it. In your subconscious mind, there is that fear again, and you know, of course, devil is the fear. There is the fear of leaving a part of you behind that you might never get back. This might be particularly true for those of you who are living in difficult relationships, for example, or working in places where work relationships are very difficult. Your subconscious is sending that fear of like, what if I leave and where I end up is going to be worse? What if I'm leaving only because the circumstances are so hopeless and I feel so alienated and I do feel so lost that I'm just sort of reacting rather than acting in accordance with my true self. And this is a subconscious blockage that you can remove by strategizing, by making a good plan, by thinking about, even writing it down sometimes is really helpful. Writing down of like, you know, what has prompted you to identify this authenticity in yourself? What has prompted you to dream about your true authentic self? Because when you write that down and you write down the actions that you know need to be taken, suddenly that subconscious blockage is something that isn't just there, isn't irremovable, but is something that you can work with. A lot of people think about this card as a card of cheating, and I find it to be quite a simplistic explanation. I do think that this is a card of strategizing, of preparing a good plan, of, you know, taking the swords away from your enemy. And in this case, very often the enemy is yourself. I do understand that, again, it's a lot harder when you do have objective circumstances that are holding you back. But even then, what is holding you back is the fear of moving on, is the fear that like, I'm just escaping. This is just an escape mechanism and it's going to take me nowhere. What sort of confirms this is also the Seven of Cups on a side here. So you've made this choice in a way, you've identified who you are, and you're so worried that this is not your true voice, that this is not who you really are, that maybe you're just being pushed by the circumstances to thinking that this is yourself. Please do not fear. This card here confirm that you've got that strength, and it's actually incredible strength. You got this, you know, ability to tell the right from wrong. You've got the ability to distinguish between the cups that might mislead you and the cups that can bring you joy and satisfaction. So yes, you might need to reevaluate everything one more time, because your subconscious is so, you know, strongly fearful. You might need to again write things down. You might need to think about all the choices, make a proper plan to really help you affirm the choices that have been made in your head already. The choices towards which you're heading are the right ones. This sort of, you know, very practical way of handling it can help you tell the right from wrong in a way, and can really help you mitigate that fear. Because if you don't, that devil might keep holding you back. It might never allow you to move closer to who you truly are, where you really should be in your life and your life's purpose. So what actions need to be taken? I'm going to start actually with her, with the Queen of Swords, because that's related again to the Seven of Swords. There is this rationality here about it. The devil the fear, it's subconscious, it's you know, it's related to the Six of Swords. It's that inability to kind of take action because of fear. Queen of Swords, Seven of Swords are almost the opposite of that. These are very rational agents. They strategize, they think, they plan, they prepare for action almost dispassionately. So you need to separate yourself from your fear, and connect yourself with your strength. Because this is the way in which you can action that plan. So the first thing is a plan, then there is an ability to execute the plan, which is connected to your rationality, to your ability to disconnect yourself from your emotional fear. Now, the actions might sometimes take a while. So I feel, you know, Three of Pentacles is collaboration with others, it's talking with others, it's preparing ground. In upright, it would be signing contracts, but it's on the side. So I feel it's like preparation for that action, which again confirms that energy that's coming through the Seven of Swords. So very, very strong preparation, but preparation that's not solitary, truly. You do need to start talking to the right people. If, for example, this authenticity requires you to change career because, you know, you've been, for example, working in the public sector and suddenly you feel called to run your own business, for example, you do need to start talking to the right people. You do need to start cooperating with others who are going to make that plan possible, who are going to be welcoming of the actions that you take, who are going to perhaps sometimes guide you. If the plan relates to fighting your own personal destructive habits, addictions, inhibitions, or whatnot is holding you back, then this cooperation might require talking to an advisor, a psychologist, somebody who is going to help you execute the plan. These people aren't there only to kind of make sure that, you know, once you're ready in the future, they're going to be welcoming. Some of you are needed in that process. They are almost like your guides. They're leading the way for you. They're leading the way with you, not so much for you. So it's like a mutual effort. You've got a plan. You know what to do. You're talking to the right people, and these people, their presence, that action that you're getting by cooperating, these actions, they truly continue to motivate you. The presence of those people continues to motivate you, and that gives you and exacerbates that strength that you've got on the inside. It does not allow you to fall into fearfulness. As I said, it might all take a little bit of time. So there is temperance here on a side, which says don't take too much time. The time to start planning is now. The time to start connecting with the right people is now. There's no more time to wait. You've been thinking about it for a long time. Do not let the devil hold you back. If you sit for too long, this might all dissipate. It might all go nowhere. All this energy that you've put into it might disappear like, you know, bubbles in a glass of soda when it stands for too long. So you want to drink that fresh. You want to use the energy that you've got in you, and you want to action the plan. I do have an oracle to confirm again what needs to be done, and I'm using Nature's Whispers oracle. So let's take one more final card for you, which says illumination. So funny how this connects with you and with your first choices, and with your Seven of Cups. It connects obviously to what you've already identified. You've already had that illumination. Trust it. Trust that you've identified who you really are. Don't allow the devil to stop you from becoming your true and authentic self. Your choices have already been illuminated for you. If you're fearful, go through a plan, go through practical steps of identifying what's right and what's wrong, but trust that you already have gone through the initial process of illumination, and all you can do is just to make sure that what you see in your future and what you identify as your authentic self is true and is real. So thank you so much for those of you who chose the Devil card. Let's put the cards back and move to the Towers. So for those of you who have selected the Tower, you can start tuning in right now. So Tower is of course talking about big changes that you need to make, sometimes dramatic and sometimes even traumatic changes that you need to make to become your true authentic self. So let's shuffle the deck and see again what your conscious, your subconscious says and what actions need to be taken. Very interesting. Now I'm going to move the Tower up here so we can have it there, but we don't need to see it all the time. Now your subconscious. Oh yeah. And the actions. Very important. Oh, I find this one really powerful. Tower, of course, speaks of complete change of landscape. So very often these are things that take us by surprise. But in this case, we're talking about blockages. So I feel that connecting with your true and authentic self requires a distraction of certain structures in your life. This might be relationships, this might be a job that is no longer satisfying, or maybe a career overall that is no longer satisfying, might be a change of location. All of those things can hold you back because they require such a drastic action. You do need to destroy, dismantle everything that you've built until now, and you need to start from a scratch. When a tower falls, it's sometimes painful, but at the same time, it's an amazing opportunity to put something that is true, real, and everlasting in its place. So I do not find Tower to be actually as difficult as some other people think. I do find it to have that promise of an opportunity. I do believe that it is a beautiful opportunity to rebuild in a place of something I was no longer working for you. So what is your conscious saying to you? It's saying, first of all, that you've got the power to execute it. Yes, that change of location, leaving that relationship or changing that career, that might be so hard for you. But again, as with the previous one, there is that strong realization already of who you really are. You already know that these actions have to be taken. So you're kind of almost a step further from the devil because you already have a plan. You already know what needs to be done. You're not fighting with the fear of, oh, maybe I've identified something wrong and I'm going to regret it. No, you're certain. The magician is so strong. The magician has the command and the knowledge of the outer world, but also of themselves. And the magician has the skills and tools and the abilities to make that change happen. So you've got what it takes in you to put your skills, to put your feelings, to put that desire for change into action and make it happen. You're at the same time worried whether you've got the resources, whether you've got the energy that is required. Knight of Wands is an incredibly energetic card in the upright, but again he's on the side here, so he's just emerging from the reverse. So that impulse is kind of waking up in you, but there's still a bit of uncertainty of like, yeah, I've got the tools, I've got the skills, But what if I don't do it right? What if the location that I've chosen is wrong? What if my career change is going to eventually lead me astray, or the circumstances in the beginning are going to be so hard that I'm going to regret it? There's always that potential for regret. In anything we do, there might be a regret. This is a kind of disconnection from your true self, your authentic self. This is a card of being far away from what you really want. They are, passing this beautiful, gorgeous building, but it's behind the gates. They can't enter it. And behind that gate is your true authentic self. So you do need to open it. You need to find the tools that the magician has to open that gate, to take it into your own hands. Don't wait for somebody to clarify for you that this is now the right moment, that this is now the right time, that you've thought about it for a very, very long time. And the longer you're going to think about it, perhaps the less likely you are going to take the actions. And what might result in that is a regret, is a deep regret of not following your true path. Imagine yourself in a year, 2, 3 from now. If you don't follow that path, how do you think you're going to feel? I understand that there is something that needs to fall. Perhaps it's a relationship. But if you feel that it is a relationship, there is a reason why you feel that it needs to go. It probably hasn't worked for a long time. Perhaps there's been a lot of disagreements, or perhaps there haven't been, but the relationship has run its course. You already have identified that this is something that holds you back. If it is a career, it's the same thing. Perhaps you're working in a job where you're just going to work, show up 9 to 5, and you come back exhausted, and you find yourself without any sense of purpose every day when you come home. And yes, there is a risk. Now, of course, you need to take. That's why we have a tower, there's a risk when all of everything that you've built thus far is falling. But there's also a promise of connecting with that aspect of a magician in you, that aspect that is going to carry you through your future. So you can keep coming home dissatisfied for the next 5, 10 years, who knows for how long, or you can take action and change that career. Maybe you want to open again your own business. Go for it. Follow that dream. You know that this is who you truly are, that you can no longer show up at work 9 to 5 and be who you truly are and be connected with your life's purpose. Of course, as I said, circumstances might be different, but what it's telling me is that you've got the strength, you've got the power, and even though you're a little bit fearful of that action, you do need to take it so that you don't end up permanently locked out outside that gate that keeps your true self hostage. Now, what is the subconscious saying? The subconscious is saying that you really want to live like the High Priestess does. So High Priestess is deeply intuitive. She's deeply connected with her own self. She knows who she is on the inside, and so do you, except she's on the side. So again, it links to that fearfulness of action. It links to that imagery that, oh, if I destroy everything, what if I'm going to suffer? What if it's going to be incredibly painful? What if I won't be able and I won't have the ability to build something real and something that lasts in its place? I think you do. But yes, of course, those changes might be painful. And the Knight of Swords is a card of, again, action, and sometimes a very harsh action. So you know that whatever you're doing here, your subconscious is just sort of, I think, bubble wrapping you in that sort of fear of like, what if I stay here for a little bit longer? I'm going to be safer. That bubble wrap of not doing anything is going to protect me. Except it's going to be pierced either way, because it might be pierced by your dissatisfaction with life in the long run. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is confirming that the longer you wait, the more dissatisfied you're going to be. This bubble wrap that you're in is illusory. It's something that isn't real. It is just, again, the fear of change. It is the fear of dismantling the structures that already exist in your life and replacing them with something new. But the Knight of Swords can pierce through any bubble wrap, so you can't bubble wrap your authentic self and just say to it, well, you just wait a little bit, you know, you wait a while and things are going to resolve themselves. They're not going to resolve themselves. If your blockage is the action that requires change and you're fearful about making that change, nobody else is going to resolve that for you. This needs to be you. This needs to be actioned by you. Without your action, you will just sort of sit here and wait and wait and wait. And your authentic self is going to be sitting here in that building behind that gate, and eventually might, well, it's not ever going to wither away, but might just sort of generate deep feeling of unhappiness, deep feeling of living a life that's not true, that's not authentic, a life where you shouldn't be. So please do not let that subconscious fear of, you know, the initial pain that might come with the change stop you from taking the necessary steps that you do need to take. What's the action? You need to prepare yourself for, of course, a lot of work. When you, for example, quit your day job and start a business, you will need to be very diligent. You'll need to keep working on that new structure that you're building in place of the tower. It's not going to all happen by itself. You'll need to juggle a lot of things. There might be a lot of tensions. There might be a lot of competition. There might be conflicting feelings in you after you make the change. This is all normal. This is a part of change. This is a part of the process of change. You do need to remember all this time that in this process you've acquired of identifying who you are, you've acquired some sort of wisdom, you've learned a lot. You already have the foundation for building the new structure. You're not somewhere in the desert not knowing what to do. You do know what needs to be done. You've been learning about yourself for a long, long time. You've identified the things that need to be done for you to become your true self. So when the tower falls, yes, there's going to be work. Yes, there's going to be a lot of juggling with different circumstances. There will be a lot of feelings that come and go, but this is part of the process. So please trust the process and please trust your own inner wisdom. Now you have acquired in this process of identifying of who you truly are. So if the change, the fear of change is holding you back, remember that again, you're the only person who can make that change happen. And please do not allow your true self to be locked behind this gate forever, because you will regret it. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, at some point in your life, there's going to be very, very deep regret that you did not destroy that tower that holds you hostage and did not build something new and beautiful in its place. Yes, the new beginning might be difficult, but the satisfaction at the end of it is going to nourish you for life. So thank you to those of you who chose the tower. Now let's move on to the Hermit. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not draw the Oracle card for you. So the Oracle card that confirms it is show your support. Show your support for yourself. Show your support for your idea of who you are. Show your support for your inner magician here. You do need to stand up and show your support for yourself. So I do hope And that confirms what we've seen before. Now, let's move truly to the Hermit. So those of you who have selected the Hermit are dealing with some sort of a deep introspection. With the previous two, I think and feel it was quite clear who you are, who you needed to be, who you wanted to be. For those of you who have selected the Hermit, I think that you're still in the process of identifying your true authentic self. So let's draw the cards that tell us what your conscious, your subconscious tells you, and what actions need to be taken. This is your subconscious, and the actions that need to be taken. Beautiful. Beautiful and challenging again. I'm going to put the Hermit up here and move to the reading. So your conscious feels like you've been on this path for a very, very long time, that you know that something isn't right. You know that something in your life has not been really, really working. You felt this sense of emptiness, like, you know, this reversed cups from which all the water has flown out, or wine, or whatever liquid I was holding. There's no more passion, there's intense dissatisfaction. This is Four of Cups in reverse, so you kind of almost just don't know what to do with it. You've been stuck there for quite a while, and it feels like every day feels like it's very hard work. You wake up every day and you go like, well, this is not who I really am, but I don't really know who I am. You're like this emperor looking through the window and at his realm and going like, well, I kind of know it in and out, but something's missing here. Something's changed. It doesn't feel like a realm that I can rule anymore. There are things that have changed within you, and you need to accept it, that, you know, this emperor and who he was before, that's gone. You need to reinvent yourself as the emperor. You need to look at your realm, at your life, and start thinking not just so much about this feeling of dissatisfaction, because of course it's there. It's been there for a long time. We can feel it here. But you need to start really looking at your realm, and by realm I mean your life, your relationships, your work, your friendships, your location, and all of that, and start thinking, you know, which parts are too small for you, which parts no longer allow you to hold that transform emperor happy. This might be small things. You might need to, you know, change the way you treat yourself, for example, treat your health, treat your daily life, but it might be something a lot bigger than that. Perhaps you'll realize that, you know, you are stuck somewhere where you no longer can put your full passion in, where you feel depleted, where you feel tired. If you feel like that, you need to start thinking, what could be changed here? What parts of this realm really truly don't function? Because you need to start with a very real life identification process, not just sitting in this feeling of like, okay, all the water has spilled, and what now? What am I going to do? Don't allow this situation to start feeling hopeless, because the longer you're on this path, the more hopeless you're going to feel. It's time to start thinking in more practical terms. It's time to start identifying the things that you might have to change, and how to change it. You can look at the section of this reading that talked about Tower, because that's for people who've already identified what to do but don't quite know how to change it. You're not quite there yet. You need to figure out, like, have you been building a tower in the first place, and then how to make it fold and rebuild in its place. But I feel like you simply just don't quite know that yet. So practical steps and not allowing yourself to wallow in that feeling of not knowing what to do and feeling hopeless about it. Your subconscious is so attached to that comfort. You know, we do all grow comfortable to some extent in our lives. So even if there is this like pebble in our shoe that is disrupting us and making us dissatisfied, we still hold on so tightly to what we've built, because of course in any aspect that we identify in our life that, you know, might no longer be serving us, we've built some sort of wealth of knowledge, financial wealth, emotional wealth. We've grown attached to these certain things that hold us safe and make us feel like, you know what, this can replace happiness. This structure can replace happiness. Except this King of Cups on the inside knows that that's not really true. You're trying to deceive the King of Cups on the inside. You're trying to deceive your emotional self. You're trying to play with your emotions in a way. And where that can lead is a feeling of depression in the end. And you do not want to end up depressed. You might already be depressed because you've been stuck on this path for quite a long time and you've not taken, you know, the actions, or you've not been thinking about the actions that need to be taken, or you might have been thinking about them but then withdrawing back to the safety, to that safety of what you've already built, what you've already had and experienced in your life, and what kind of gives you that illusion of being in a safe place forever. Yeah, you might be safe, particularly financially. If this requires financial changes for you, you might indeed be financially safe. But this contrast between, you know, this card of growing depression and the disconnect from your true emotional self, that's alarming. You cannot let your subconscious sort of bubble wrap you in illusion of comfort. It's truly disconcerting in the long run, because you're getting stuck in this growing disconnect between what is and what should be, and this links to a growing feeling of darkness, not really functioning properly in your life, and waking up every day just a little bit emptier. You do not want that in your life. Actions that need to be taken, they are difficult, I feel. The moment you identify what needs to be done, you'll realize that, of course, there are blockages to realization of that plan. There will be things that might be or appear to be incredibly difficult to do, especially when you think about the comfort that you have. Maybe you need to move home, move location, and you go like, well, but I've put so much work here and I'm not really happy, but I'm not that unhappy, so therefore I'm just going to sit here and wait for things to change. Yeah, that's not going to bring you closer to your true authentic self. It's not going to help you identify who you really are. So be prepared that process of, you know, the illumination, the process of, you know, finding that light somewhere in the darkness is going to illuminate certain structures that need to change and fall in your life. And this will be then related again to making sure that the tower that you've built falls. Please remember that even though you're so attached, I think, to certain, you know, things, that the wealth and the things that you've built that give you the illusion of comfort, you can always build a new structure, a new happier place for yourself, a place that will feel like home, whether that's metaphorical home or physical home. You've got the power to rebuild and build something happier. There is stagnation in the Four of Pentacles, but there's quite a lot of happiness in the Four of Wands, because the passion is still there. The comfort the safety, all of that you have in the Four of Pentacles is still there, but you've got the fire going. So that keeps you happy, that keeps your life purposeful, that keeps you authentic. If you stay here, you'll be growing more and more disconnected from yourself. If you imagine that building that new emotional, spiritual, or any other kind of home is possible, then you can replace the stagnant structure with a structure that's vibrant, that keeps bringing you joy, that keeps lighting your fire. And sometimes I feel that you'll realize that there might be too much of that fire, that you connect so strongly with yourself that you will want to change everything all at once. And that might not be possible right away, because after that process of introspection, then it's the time of action. It's the time of identifying your fears. That's the devil part of this reading. It's then the time of identifying the structures that need to fall. That's the tower part of that reading. And none of it is going to happen incredibly fast. But your desire, once you go through this introspection successful, your desire to connect with your true self might be so strong that you will just want to rush it. And you need to remember that this process cannot truly be rushed. It's a process that is sometimes painfully slow, but do not allow it to drag on and on and on. Yes, it's slow, but it shouldn't be so slow that it keeps you hostage in this feeling of growing dissatisfaction and resentment of your reality. Let's draw a confirmation card from our oracle. Beautiful. Assurance. It links so strongly with this Four of Wands. Be assured that you can rebuild. Be assured that your true and authentic self can build itself a home, whether it's physical, metaphorical, spiritual, or related to new relationships or circumstances in your life. Be assured that once you connect with your true self, that true self is going to be your guiding light, and this true self is going to be able to build a new, beautiful and welcoming home for yourself. And please understand home in a very broad way here. So this is what I have for those of you who have selected the Hermit. For the very end, let's take 3 final cards for everyone to see what you can do to connect with your true, authentic self. Final confirmation for everyone. Gorgeous. I just love this. And let's take 1 oracle card. Ah, beautiful. What a powerful confirmation of all this reading. Yes, the process of connecting, removing blockages, working with your true self can sometimes be daunting. It can feel like a night without a moon in it. So moon in reverse might feel like walking in that darkness when there isn't even a light of the moon. It's part of the process. You do need to trust that you are on the right path. You need to trust your intuition, even when you don't yet see the outcome. So that's, I think, particularly potent for those of you who selected the Hermit. You might not see the end of this yet, but you are already on the right path. If you can't see the path, tune into yourself, listen to your intuition, and let your intuition guide you on the path that you might not be seeing yet. Do not hold your emotional self back. This is the Queen of Cups on the side, so she wants very much to have her cup full, but she's kind of holding herself back. She's not truly allowing herself to execute her dreams, to follow her path, to do the things that are required of her to succeed in being her full, emotional, authentic self. The Fool is, I think, particularly true for those of you who are dealing with the Tower. Like, trust in the magic of new beginnings. Like, yes, one thing has to fall for another to begin, because just as the whole deck of cards or the whole major arcana ends with the World, that is not the end of your journey. A new chapter begins with the Fool, with the enthusiasm. Remember the enthusiasm that is necessary to build a new, fresh, and successful path. And as a confirmation, we got Clear Endeavor, which I think is talking to all three of them. That, like, you know, whether you're in the process of identifying yourself, in a process of fighting with fears that keep holding you back, or in the process of removing certain real life structures that are holding you back, stay clear in your endeavors. Once you get to the point where you know what needs to be done, you know who you are, make a plan, stick to a plan, and make it an endeavor that is clear and moving from point A to point B with the energy and enthusiasm of a Fool. So thank you so much for following this reading. Thank you again, Helen, for making it happen. Again, we were using the Dark Misfits Tarot, and I'm Dee Ann Darkwood, and it was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you.